Okay, what bipolar disorder exactly is that they experience I think for many of us, in our minds, just by hearing the words bipolar disorder, it must be people who have mood swings and they can't control it well or something. They get very happy, then very sad, then very happy, then very sad. Apparently, that is the totally wrong concept of bipolar disorder. Before we move on in this video, I want you to get to know a few terms first. Mania. Mania is a state of significantly elevated mood, or to be more layman's, happier than happy, results in severe disruption to daily life and sometimes involve psychotic symptoms. Psychosis, which is seeing, hearing, or believing things that aren't real. And then depression, a state of persistent low mood and decreased in energy, and to make it sound a little more layman's, much sadder than sad. So what is bipolar disorder? People with bipolar disorder experience highs called mania and lows called depression. Yes, it sounds like the mood is swinging, but it is very different from common mood swings. The important concept is that the highs and lows in bipolar disorder swing from one extreme to the other. These moods are different from the everyday fluctuations we all experience. They tend to occur out of context too and can last for several days, weeks, or months. And most importantly, it can get very, very dangerous to the person, and let me explain why. When someone with bipolar disorder is experiencing a manic episode, they experience feelings of heightened energy, creativity, and euphoria, may talk a mile a minute, sleep very little, and be very hyperactive. They may take big risks or do things they wouldn't ordinarily do, which might have damaging effects on their career, finances, reputation, or relationships. They may also feel like they are all-powerful and invincible or destined for greatness, and basically they feel zero sense of danger. And let me contextualize why this can get dangerous. As I mentioned, they feel all-powerful and invincible. They may think that they have superpowers and can fly, and therefore will possibly jump off a building. And can you imagine when this is accompanied by unreal voices because of psychosis? They aren't aware of the danger that they are putting themselves into. Therefore, usually, hospitalization will be required for people who is having a manic episode. Okay, I'm not saying that all people with bipolar disorder will think this way during their manic episode, but I'm just trying to contextualize the danger extent it can reach during mania. And also, not all people with bipolar disorders are this serious. Then we have the depressive episodes. So the main symptoms of depression is feeling hopeless, extremely low, and losing pleasure in doing things. It is an overwhelming feeling of worthlessness, which therefore can potentially lead to thoughts of suicide and self-harm. Therefore, it is dangerous in this way. When doing my long-ass crazy neuro and mental health module this term, my lecturer said that the mania episodes are more dangerous than the depressive episodes. Think of it this way. When a person is manic, and like the example I mentioned previously, they think that they can fly and then jump off a building, and therefore they do not even realize that they are potentially causing harm to themselves. On the other hand, during depressive episodes, which may result in thoughts of self-harm and suicide, the person is consciously, potentially acting out the harm, like they know that they are going to do something harmful. and when compared to like the mania episodes, they are not aware of the harmful activities, and that is why mania episodes are somewhat more dangerous. So those were the main takeaways, and I hope that more people can understand about bipolar disorder, which is the highs are extremely high, which is called mania, and the lows are extremely low, which is called depression, and both can be super dangerous to the person. I would say that the level and extent of a mood is a spectrum, and therefore everybody's bipolar is different, and as the extent of how far the mood can reach towards the end of the spectrum varies. I hope that you have learned something new today. In fact, another reason why I made this video is because, well, it is just this small story, but when I was in high school and we used to have like camps in school, and during the night when everyone is supposed to be sleeping, I heard two of my other group mates gossiping about me, saying that I have bipolar disorder and obviously other nasty things. And well, they thought that I'm asleep, but nope. Anyways, this really hit me that people do not really understand what this mental illness actually mean, because when I heard them gossiping about me, even I did not fully understand what bipolar disorder is. And then obviously I thought I had bipolar disorder. Well, there is just so much stigma around this, and I hope that I'm able to play a part in breaking this stigma. For those who knows or suspects someone who is in difficulty, please be kind and compassionate. To be fair, I find that when someone is struggling mentally, they tend to be in denial, but when they are in denial, do not confront bluntly to them that they are struggling, and really be kind and patient and talk from a place where you will be there for them when they are ready to face the darkest parts within themselves. And also, I would like to point out some examples. Okay, so let's say someone says, I think I have diabetes. And the response is, just don't eat sugar and you will be fine. It is literally the same thing as, I think I'm very depressed. And the response is, just think about the good things and you will feel better. Although I would say that the responses are actually not entirely incorrect if you follow common sense, but it is definitely much more complex medically for both diabetes and depression. So basically the responses here is definitely not something you should be saying, alright? And if you feel suffocated and are experiencing very debilitating symptoms, I encourage you to seek help for this. Medical help or a counselor is the preferred choice, but if you choose to tell someone close, I would say that I will put a warning to this, because sometimes telling someone may result in feeling worse and utter disappointment due to something they say or their response. The reason is because your friend is not a counselor and they are simply not trained in conversing with someone who is struggling mentally. People actually have to undergo training to know the conversation style when encountering someone who is struggling mentally, for example, counselors. And well, yes, I do think that your friend or loved one is coming from a place of caring for you, hence they're saying the things what they think will make you feel better, but a lot of the times it can make one feel worse. If I encounter something like this, how I think around this to feel better is that the friend simply hopes that I can feel better, hence they say things like that. I'm not saying that everyone is like that, but do have a heads up of this possibility just to avoid feeling worse. So basically who you tell is also pretty crucial, but the best thing is to go for a counselor or a healthcare professional, because they do study these things in depth and have went through proper training on dealing with these situations. Last but not least, if you really are struggling, it is okay. There's so much stigma surrounding mental illness because it sounds like you admit that you have gone mad or crazy. You admit that you can't think rationally, and you admit that you're not being grateful for your circumstances. These are the most common reasons why people will hide in the dark and be in denial, because there's so much shame around it. And let me tell you this, those things are definitely not true. You're not crazy, you're not rational, and you're not grateful. Listen carefully. Simply being able to first acknowledge the fact that you're struggling is so difficult due to the stigma and shame surrounding it. And therefore, I say that you are so brave to face such a debilitating part within you. And I say to you that acknowledging it means you are being responsible for yourself, and that is just amazing. Hence, I give you many clapping hands for this, alright? And after acknowledging, it is only then you have the ability to start finding a solution to the issue. And when you have that strength to want to find a solution for yourself, to want to live better for yourself, to me, that is just so beautiful. Acknowledging and admitting that you're struggling doesn't mean that you are the struggle and that you are defined by it. Remember that what you decide to do for yourself when you are experiencing the struggle only defines who you are. Experiencing the disease or the struggle, it is not a choice. But finding a solution towards it is a choice, and definitely do this at your own pace. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you so much for your time.